Well, it's the big election day. We're tracking numbers coming out of Maharashtra and Jharkhand. Maharashtra, as per the early lead, seems to be going towards the NDA. Out of the 288 seats up for grabs, we've got results for about 255 seats so far. These are the early leads that we're talking about, not clear numbers, but NDA clearly has crossed the halfway mark. It's leading in about 162 seats, and all the three key leaders, Eknath Shinde, Devendra Fadnavis, Ajit Pawar, all leading in their respective constituencies. India Alliance at 84 at this juncture. There will be a large number of rebels and independents in this election, so we will have to see where they go as well. But as far as early leads go, the NDA seems to be on course to win the Maharashtra election. But let's just add a caveat. It's only 10 a.m. in the morning. The numbers could change in the next few hours. Let's look at the state of Jharkhand, where there is a very interesting fight going on. No clear winner here as of now. Out of 81, the magic number is 41. The India Alliance here in the lead right now, with 40 seats, the NDA at 31. So let's see what happens in Jharkhand over the next few minutes or so. Let me first go across to our colleague Arunima, who is actually joining us from Ranchi, I believe. Arunima, tell us where you are right now. What's happening in Jharkhand? Why is the fight so close in this election here?
So we are coming live to you from the Bharatiya Janata Party office here in Jharkhand. We'll just pan my camera and show you there's more media presence here than presence of Bharatiya Janata Party leaders or karyakartas, and that's because the election results seem to be showing that it's a very, very tight contest at the moment. The Election Commission website is suggesting that the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha is in a lead. I'm just looking at the Election Commission website, which shows JMM has a lead of 20, Bharatiya Janata Party 21. But then JMM alliance partners 10 to Congress, 5 to RJD, 2 to CPI-ML, which means the JMM-led Alliance of India Front is at about 37 seats at the moment, whereas the Bharatiya Janata Party-led NDA Alliance is at about 23. So JMM-led Alliance has the edge at the moment, but it's very close. It's swinging continuously. Champai Soren, the former Chief Minister of Jharkhand, Kolhan Tiger as he is called, he's recently switched from the JMM to the Bharatiya Janata Party. Initially he was leading, but the last half an hour or so he started trailing as well. So the fortunes are swinging for the BJP top guns here. And the Bharatiya Janata Party leaders who are speaking to the media are taking a wait and watch approach. JMM office, I was there about 5 minutes ago, completely barren. So even there the celebrations are being withheld. They are waiting and watching because they want to be absolutely sure about the numbers before you hear the dhols and the tashas.
Right. Arunima, if we were to ask you, yes, you rightly said, and we're showing this on our magic wall as well, there are about 38 seats which the JMM is contesting, and they seem to be winning at least 28 of them right now. 9 are seats where the NDA seems to be winning. Which are the areas in Jharkhand where the NDA holds the edge? And they had a very strong campaign as well. In fact, the voice has been in Maharashtra that ever since the Lok Sabha election, the RSS has been working very hard with the BJP to reach out to backward groups, the Dalits, the OBCs, to make sure they are able to bring them out in large numbers and also vote for the NDA alliance. So what's working for the BJP? Where is the BJP alliance strong right now in Jharkhand?
So, Santhal Pargana and the Kolhan area. Santhal Pargana is where the maximum, campaign happened around the illegal Bangladeshi immigrant issue. These are districts of Pakur, Sahibganj and Bharatiya Janata Party. What works for them? Let me ask BJP's leader itself, sir. What really is working for BJP? आपके हिसाब से झारखंड में भारतीय जनता पार्टी के फेवर में क्या काम कर रहा है?
देखो, आज भारतीय जनता पार्टी के पक्ष में जो रुझान आए, 4th राउंड कंप्लीट हो गया है। 44 पे हम आगे हैं और झारखंड के लिए आज नया सूर्योदय है और ये सूर्योदय विकास लेके आएगा, क्योंकि 5 सालों में जो रूल ऑफ लॉ कोलैप्स हुआ है, जो करप्शन बढ़ा है, बिना पैसा दिए कहीं कोई काम नहीं होना है, यूथ का सपना ध्वस्त हुआ था, क्वेश्चन पेपर 25-25 लाख में बेच दिए गए थे। महिलाओं पे लाठीचार्ज, पहली बार ऐसा देखा। पुलिस ने पुलिस को पीटा, होमगार्ड ने पुलिस को पीटा, पुलिस ने होमगार्ड को पीटा।
सर, अगर इतनी ही नाराजगी होती तो नंबर्स इतने नेक एंड नेक तो नहीं होते।
अरे भाई, आप दीदी आप देखो, यहाँ 81 है, बहुत नेक टू नेक चलता है। महाराष्ट्र में 288 है सीट्स, इसलिए आप गैप ज्यादा देख रहे हो। वहाँ तो मोदी जी के पक्ष में, भारतीय जनता पार्टी के पक्ष में सुनामी चल रही है।
तो आपको लगता है
सुनामी भी 12 बजे के बाद देखने को मिलेगा। अभी 44 पे आगे हैं, ये 50 के पार जाएगा। भाई यहाँ आप देखो 81 सीट है, 81 सीट में उतना गैप आपको नजर
पर
नहीं
आपको
आएगा।
लगता है बीजेपी को खुद के बल पे क्लियर बहुमत मिलेगा?
100%।
अभी तक इतिहास में ऐसा हुआ नहीं है।
100, हाँ, अलग राज्य बनने के बाद अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी की ने जो देन दिया, जो हम सबको अलग राज्य दिया, उसके बाद आज तक नहीं हुआ। मैं पूरी विश्वास के साथ, पूरे आत्मविश्वास के साथ और पूरी मेहनत जो हम सब ने 2 महीने, हम हजारों कार्यकर्ताओं ने की, उसके चलते हमें कह रहा हूं। और जो परिणाम सामने जो आ रहे हैं 4th राउंड के बाद, ये आंकड़ा 50 के पार जाएगा।
मिठाइयाँ बनने लगी है क्या
आप
अंदर?
इंतजार करो, मिठाई आपको मिलेगी शाम को। अभी तो 19 राउंड होने हैं, बट ये आंकड़ा बहुत हाफ सेंचुरी के पार जाएगा।
All right, so परीक्षित, मिठाइयाँ मिलेंगी आपको, is what the Ranchi member of parliament tells us. It is a very brave face to put up because Jharkhand is seeing a tight fight at the moment. Their reasoning is that it's a small state, only 81 seats, so it will be a close fight. JMM camp though is confident that this election is theirs to win.
Right. And, just going back to our magic wall, Arunima, and I'm looking at the seats where the Congress is contesting. In fact, we're looking at 3 to 4 different factors. Of course, JMM leading in the seats where they're contesting, doing better than the NDA. Even when you look at the seats where the Congress is contesting, in fact, 29 of them, here the NDA has a marginal lead. NDA at 15, India Alliance at 13. If you look at the tribal seats, here in the tribal seats in Jharkhand, the India Alliance has a lead in 22 out of 26 and 4 for the NDA. If we look at the Adivasi sentiment, we had seen JMM, the Congress, the RJD Alliance speaking out and raising the arrest of Hemant Soren in a big way. Has that somehow resonated with the voters in Jharkhand? Does that have sentimental value, emotional value in this election, according to you, Arunima?
See, the tribal seats where something that BJP wanted to grab, there are reserved seats and there is a division. If you see how the voters here are divided, there are the Kurmi seats which traditionally go with the Bharatiya Janata Party, and then there are the tribal seats in Santhal Pargana, in Kolhan, in Chota Nagpur, which have favored the JMM. The Congress could have been the X factor here. Everyone I spoke to, be it the Bharatiya Janata Party supporter, be it leaders from the India front, the consensus seems to be, and as I'm speaking to you, more and more BJP leaders are arriving here, but the consensus, coming back to what I was telling you, is that Congress is the weak link in the India front. A lot of people actually gave the example of Jammu and Kashmir, where National Conference did the heavy lifting and Congress actually pulled the alliance down. There was an apprehension that in Jharkhand also, it could be the same pattern. Congress last time around had about 18 seats. In worst case scenario, the prediction was that they would win at least 13. But I was looking at the Election Commission website, the lead was showing only about 10. So could Congress prove to be the reason why the India front, if that happens, does not touch the magic figure? And I spoke to Ghulam Ahmed Mir, who's the Jharkhand in charge of Congress party. He said that this is just propaganda, it's not true. Congress is an equal fight, but one will have to wait and see whether in the urban pockets like Bokaro, Dhanbad, these urban pockets where Congress was trying to take on the Bharatiya Janata Party, whether it manages to hold on its own. Because in the tribal belts, in rural tribal belts of Santhal Pargana, in Kolhan, in Chota Nagpur, JMM is holding on to its bastion.
Right. Thank you very much for that perspective, Arunima. Detailed perspective from outside the BJP headquarters in Ranchi, Jharkhand. Let me go across to our guest. Mahima Singh of the Congress is joining us. Mukesh Tyagi of the BJP. It looks like a battle which has been decided in Maharashtra, but the battle is too tight in Jharkhand to call as of now. Mahima Singh, what do you think is working for the India Alliance in the state of Jharkhand, where they are in the lead as of now?
Jai Hind, I would say that yes, early trends are a little confusing, just like the political discourse, which has been made very confusing by the BJP over the last many years. But we are seeing that Jharkhand's trends are changing, and so will Maharashtra's trends, Mr. Luthra. Because you see, the voters have had an immense trust deficit over the past many years because of the gambits that the BJP has been playing across states, especially Jharkhand, because you specifically asked about Jharkhand. You see, from arresting to a sitting chief minister who did not give in to the pressure tactics by the BJP, to defecting their leaders, to their major leaders, to derailing the narrative, to intrusion when the home ministry is with the BJP, the central government is BJP's, yet they tried to play all sort of rhetoric in the state of Jharkhand. But we see that the trends are favoring democracy, the trends are favoring the people's issues. The Congress and our alliance partners in both the states and all the by-election going states also, we have kept the people's issues at the very core of our electoral pursuit. We have talked about people's issues. We have reassured them that their rights will be kept at the forefront of our
Mahima
government.
Singh, were you actually hoping for a better performance? Now, on our election wall, we brought up the seats where the Congress is contesting. There are 29 seats in the Jharkhand Vidhan Sabha that the Congress was actually contesting. The rest of the seats in the state are divided between the JMM and the RJD. Out of these 29 seats, the NDA is at 14, the India Alliance is at 14. NDA has actually made a gain of 3 compared to the last Vidhan Sabha election. So it's a neck-to-neck fight in the seats where the Congress was fighting. So there is a feeling that the Congress is actually the weak link in the JMM Congress RJD alliance. How would you see this, and how would you describe the performance of the Congress party in Jharkhand specifically?
I would say, Mr. Luthra, that as we have seen over the past couple of hours, the trends have been changing in spite of very slow counting. I must point it out here with a lot of concern and worry. Because during the past few elections, including the last general elections, we have seen that the counting is slow. In fact, this morning we have seen many of the seats, counting did not start till couple of hours into the counting. So it is worrisome on the Election Commission of India's part. It is, I would say, lackadaisical. They are answerable to the country. They are answerable to the voters. And as far as our worries are concerned, as far as whether we are looking at it with a sense of concern, I would say not really, because right now, there's anything possible. Possibilities are galore. And we are keeping our fingers crossed. We have fought an election for the people, with the people, of their concerns, of their issues, and we are very positive. I hope that in the next couple of hours, it is the people's issues that will win. It is the hate speeches that will be by the people.
Okay, let's bring in Mukesh Tyagi of the BJP. Mr. Tyagi, I would like to ask you about the Jharkhand numbers before we move on to Maharashtra. Would you say that the performance of the BJP has not been up to the mark as yet? What is the feeling within the BJP circles? Do you feel things are going to change in the next few hours, or you feel that these trends will largely be the same by about 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock?
I'm very confident, Mr. Luthra, that Bharatiya Janata Party will be in a position to form the government in Jharkhand. Look at the national pan-India trend that Bharatiya Janata Party, much contrary to all everybody saying that Bharatiya Janata Party will not win in Maharashtra. In Uttar Pradesh also, they were showing the predominant presence of SAR. I think although the trends have been very slow, but look at the demographic dilution which has happened as a result of Hemant Soren's dirty politics of appeasement, including he set up in the assembly a mosque in the assembly. So there was a huge appeasement going on. Lots of false Aadhaar card and the voter cards were generated. I mean, it was all, I think, obvious by all the psephologists that JMM should be losing in Jharkhand, and I'm not sure. I will not be surprised if there is a dramatic change in the voting pattern, and with a 1% here and there, it can alter the fortunes in the hustings. So it's too early to say. what is going to happen. But right now, BJP needs to catch up with the deficit, and I'm very sure the kind of work which has been done by BJP, and people have seen the misrule of Hemant Soren. Where Champai Soren, one of his oldest loyalist party, left him out of disgruntlement because all the policy decision he took as a chief minister in a short span of time, they were completely disowned by Hemant Soren after he came back from the jail. So the people have seen the it's not the development which is the prime object of Hemant Soren. It is the corruption. It is the appeasement. It is the manipulation, and so there is a tribal community which is distributed. And look at the way the demography has dwindled in Santhal. There are maybe 6 assembly seats, and today look at the comparison. Sorry. Yeah, you were saying something?
But Mukesh Tyagi, if I look at the numbers right now, and if we look at some of the key factors, look at the seats where the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha is contesting, and they have leads in at least 28 out of those 41 seats. If we look at the tribal seats in Jharkhand, let's look at the tribal seats. Even here, you've got here actually now you have the ND alliance in the lead. So the numbers changing very fast. Let's look at the women voters in Jharkhand. Seats where they have a large number of women voters. Here, the India alliance seems to be doing better with about 23 seats, leads in about 23 seats right now. Mukesh Tyagi, Mahima Singh, I'll request you to hold on. The numbers are changing. Let's look at the big state of Maharashtra right now, which seems to be going towards the NDA. And as per the current leads and also the numbers on the Election Commission website, the NDA is all set for a 2/3 majority in the state of Maharashtra. All their 3 key leaders are winning right now. NDA leading in about 182 seats. 145 is the mark or magic number that they needed. India Alliance at 81. It seems that Eknath Shinde, Ajit Pawar, Devendra Fadnavis have been able to pull their act together, and they have been working hard along with the RSS to reach out to different groups in the state. Let's also not forget they brought out the Ladki Behen scheme, which has had an impact clearly, and many of our teammates who had been traveling across the state of Maharashtra, they had been speaking about this as well. Let me go across to my colleague Santya Gora, who has traveled the length and breadth of Maharashtra. Santya, give us a sense about what would you attribute the success of the NDA to as of now. They are leading in 184. These are leads right now, but they have made major gains. What would these gains be attributed to?
So Parikshit, the day the exit polls were out, I actually made a list based on what I had, picked up from the ground. Some of the reasons you also mentioned, so I would like to give you a list. I would like to start with welfare schemes. Ladki Bahin, without any doubt, played a huge role. Then it was RSS, which was nowhere to be seen during Lok Sabha elections, was aggressively campaigning not only for the BJP but also for other allies of Mahayuti. So RSS presence. Infrastructure development played a key role. Ground level mobilization till the last minute by RSS, by BJP and other allies played a huge role. This also helped increasing voter turnout as well. Decentralization of election campaign and election issues by the BJP. BJP realized during Lok Sabha that because the elections were not were not decentralized the way they should have been, that's why they had to pay a price during Lok Sabha. And BJP does a very good job when it comes to decentralizing elections. So that's what they did in Maharashtra. That really helped. Limited presence of the PM and the Home Minister. It would not sound pleasant to BJP supporters, but that actually helped because there was anger among Maharashtra voters towards the Prime Minister and the Home Minister. We saw a reflection of that during Lok Sabha as well. So that's why, like Haryana, there were very limited rallies of both the HM and the Prime Minister, especially the Prime Minister. Seat to seat marking. That's what BJP did. They realized the pockets that those were not working for them, whether it was the Marathwada belt or whether it was parts of Vidarbha where they are facing anti-incumbency or parts of northern and western Maharashtra. So they brought it down to seat marking. They brought it down to candidate fight. That really helped them a lot, because ultimately it is all coming down to candidates. So that was the selection of candidate played a key role. Mahavikas Aghadi, especially Congress, sticking to their old agenda of constitution related narrative. That is, Congress's narrative was during Lok Sabha that BJP will destroy constitution and the voters will have to vote against BJP in order to save the constitution. So that narrative, though it worked really well for Congress during Lok Sabha, but remember, these are state assembly elections, so clearly that did not resonate with the people this time. And to counter that, immediately after Lok Sabha, and this is one thing very few people actually took notice of this, RSS started its constitution awareness programs. RSS held multiple rallies and multiple programs in the name of constitution awareness, Samvidhan Jagran. RSS went to the tribal belts, the Dalit belts of the state, and convinced people that this constitution related narrative which is being spread by Congress is fake. And now we can see that especially the Dalit Hindus were convinced by whatever RSS had to say. We can see the impact there. Other than that, MVA's faulty seat distribution. So during this whole seat distribution drama, on both sides actually, Mahayuti and MVA, there was a lot of drama, a lot of cross nomination was there, rebels were there, people left parties and they filed their candidature as an independent candidate. But BJP successfully, by the time it was the time to withdraw the nomination, whether it was Gopal Shetty or other people, BJP successfully convinced them not to do anything which is going to harm the party, something which cannot be said for MVA. And also MVA during their seat sharing, for example, I'll give you the seats which were, for example, the whole Marathwada belt and the belt which was kind of strong, this thing for Congress and Sharad Pawar. Uddhav Thackeray ended up getting candidates there. So that whole equation did not sit really well. Other than that, comparatively weakened enthusiasm of the minorities, who we saw that aggressively voted during Lok Sabha, and it is directly related to the constitution related narrative. So that did not happen, and the result impact we can see. Shinde's popularity as the chief minister really helped Mahayuti alliance. Right. And one factor where MVA missed and made a huge
this was a hyper-local election, because it was almost like a panchayat or municipal election. Wherever you go in Maharashtra, the issues were different. There are 6 regions. You have the agricultural pockets in Maharashtra. You've got the urban pockets where the issues could be different. There were rebellions. There were regional satraps. So it was a very, very difficult election to predict. Do you feel that the Congress, the India Alliance, by talking about certain national issues, missed the local picture? For example, you've also reported the soybean issue, farmers complaining about not getting the MSP, inflation, price rise. Do you think these were many major issues for the people in Maharashtra across the state, and the sentiment was very, very different everywhere?
Yes, absolutely, Parikshit. That's what I said. Seat-to-seat marking, which was done by the BJP, the way they decentralized the whole election, the whole campaign election issues, all these things played a huge role. And MVA couldn't obviously read between the lines. And another big miss on MVA's part was not announcing Uddhav Thackeray as their chief ministerial candidate. See, Uddhav Thackeray, even if somebody is not his supporter in Maharashtra during COVID, and whatever work he did during COVID, he earned a lot of goodwill. So that could have really helped MVA, but because of all the infighting, all these ambitions of, every single faction of MVA, same as the situation with Mahayuti, but they were able to manage all that. MVA couldn't. Announcing Uddhav Thackeray as the chief ministerial candidate would have really helped. We were speaking to the other side before the elections, and in fact Mahayuti leaders were worried that if Uddhav Thackeray will be announced as the chief ministerial face by the MVA, it is going to make things difficult for them. That didn't happen. Talking about the issues, you spoke about soybean, MSP. I'll give you an example. Till the last moment, MSP, obviously the announcement was made, MSP was increased and all of that, because during Lok Sabha, soybean farmers and cotton farmers were extremely angry with the Mahayuti. And in fact, the CM himself, Eknath Shinde, admitted that and he, attributed the electoral losses to the anger among soybean and cotton farmers. So this time what happened, they increased the MSP, the amount. But till the very end, the government was not purchasing soybean on the MSP. We reported, as you rightly mentioned, we reported on that. We spoke to the farmers. But this is how BJP countered that particular anger. BJP started giving examples of Karnataka, that how soybean is being purchased on MSP in Karnataka. And BJP in fact helped farmers, those who could, to take their produce to Karnataka. To sell, they made all those arrangements. Some of them, obviously, there are rules which bar people from doing that. But a lot was done, especially on the border side. So this is how BJP ended up managing those issues. Maratha reservation was an extremely important issue, but that all played out during Lok Sabha. But the way OBC community was consolidated against Marathas, the impact we can see. BJP's Madhav formula, there's this formula, they call it Madhav, it's in Maharashtra. So it comprises three particular communities. Madhav is Malis, Dhangars and Vanjaris. So when I was in Bid, I would like to share this with you. When I was in Bid, I met few women who were selling custard apples on the roadside. They were from the Vanjari community. And I spoke to them about Ladli Bahin. They were very happy with the scheme and they were ready to vote against this whole narrative of Maratha reservation. So OBC vote consolidation, which the BJP and Mahayuti couldn't do during Lok Sabha, they did that. So this is how they managed all these issues. Role of welfare schemes, role of RSS and decentralization of issues played a key role.
One thing is very clear, both the alliances. Now, you were looking at parties which had been divided. You were looking at 6 parties, 2 alliances. But it seems that as of now, as per the early leads, it was the NDA which managed these differences better. Mahima Singh, returning to you right now, a similar script playing out here after Haryana. Do you feel that the Congress could have done better with a more nuclear, with a more localized strategy in different parts of Maharashtra?
But we did play around with the local strategy. We did go for the election, not only this time, but every time with a local strategy. If you would see, Congress and our alliance have always kept the local issues at the very core of our pursuit. We believe in the federal structure of this country, unlike the BJP and its allies. Because you see, for the BJP, it is Mr. Modi, who was, of course, this time around in Vidarbha and Marathwada, was shown the no entry sign, in spite of which the results we are seeing as of now, you see, are a little certainly unacceptable, because the people we have seen on the ground were against the BJP. But in Jharkhand and Maharashtra both, we have come up with local narrative based, you see, the manifestos. In Maharashtra, we have given a Panchasutra, wherein we are talking about the farmer loan waivers, we are talking about economic financial relief to women, we're talking about jobs. Similarly, in Jharkhand also, you see, the BJP has ruled the state of Jharkhand for the longest time, Mr. Luthra. From Babulal Marandi to Arjun Munda to Mr. Raghuvar Das, Jharkhand has been a corporate loot has been facilitated by the BJP leaders in Jharkhand. And the Congress and its allies, the JMM and the Congress during our last term, have literally sort of built up from a negative position on that. And that is what we have promised the people in both the states. And we hope that the trends will change in Maharashtra too, as they have changed in Jharkhand. We have worked on the grassroots, our leaders and workers both, and we are keeping our fingers crossed.
Right. But if I look at the numbers all across the state, in different pockets, the NDA seems to be doing better. What do you think has gone wrong? If you had to do a post-mortem after this election, what would be some of the key factors that the India Alliance needs to now work on, Mahima Singh?
I would say before introspecting, before the question of introspection by India or the Congress or our allies, I would say the number one question is, Why has the Election Commission been playing around with the guidelines of the Constitution, of the Model Code of Conduct, not acknowledging when we are complaining about the breaches here and there at multiple places? Why is the counting so slow today? Why was the counting not even initiated for the initial few rounds today? You see, it increases sort of a trust deficit amongst the voters of this country. Mr. Luthra, when we talk about
But it's also about capitalizing the issues on the ground. If you look at farmers' distress, and as me and my colleague Santya were talking about a little while back, even in Lok Sabha elections, there were the issue of cotton farmers, soybean farmers not getting the right price. Now look at farmers' distress. There are at least 58 districts which have been impacted by issues related to farmers. There the NDA is leading at 35, India Alliance at 23. When there were issues like this, why didn't the India Alliance or the Congress be able to capitalize on these issues?
But we did. Our leaders and the workers were on the ground, as I already said, whether it is unemployment, whether it is agrarian distress, whether it is inflation, whether it is women's safety. We have been on the ground. We have been doing relentless press conferences. We have been talking to the people. If you saw, it was Mr. Rahul Gandhi who was meeting women and farmers locally, even during his, the recent election rallies and electoral pursuit. So one cannot say that we have not been working. It would be very wrong to say that. We have been working. We have been putting in a lot of rigorous efforts, and that too two-way. It is not one way like it is in the BJP. It's not man ki baat. It is jan ki baat. We have been in constant dialogue with the people, and yet if the result turns out to be this way, then it is certainly a worrisome trend. It is certainly a reaffirmation of the lowering, the deterioration of the political discourse by the BJP over the past decade. And we will certainly need to introspect into, how to contain this spread of the hatred by the BJP, which is somehow playing to their tune. So with that, I would conclude by saying that we are keeping our fingers crossed. We are hoping
but that
for
cannot be the only issue, Mahima Singh, because in Jharkhand, if you see, the opposition alliance is in the lead. Haryana was also supposed to be an election where the Congress started off with an advantage, but somehow there were internal issues within the party. If we look at the state of Maharashtra right now, where the Shiv Sena is fighting against the Uddhav Thackeray Sena, it is the NDA, that is the Shinde Sena, which is in the lead. If you look at the fight within the NCP family, that is the NCP versus Sharad Pawar NCP, where things stand as of now, it is the Ajit Pawar faction which is actually doing better. So something that the opposition alliance has to think of and think of very hard as to what's really going wrong. But again, let's not call the election as yet. As of now, it is in the favor of the NDA. Let's see what happens in the next few hours. We're going to wrap this for the moment, but lots more on CNBC TV 18 with election coverage. Let's also not forget 48 assembly seats also going to polls. There are bypolls on in the country, also in 2 Lok Sabha seats. These are seats of Wayanad and Nanded, and Priyanka Gandhi in Wayanad leading by over 65,000 to 68,000 votes. We'll get you more numbers in the next few hours.